want to save that for the
yeah, we're just
real
hanging
deal?
out. Oh,
Okay.
we're live. No, we're actually live, guys.
There it is.
Now I'm gonna actually turn off the fixed one, so it'll be voice activated for a moment. Oh, look at that! I actually have a pre-roll that's correct. A B&H ad. Imagine that. I get B&H.
That's legit.
Do you know what? I've got an ad for Philadelphia cheese in Czech on the pre-roll.
Like cream
so
cheese.
They're paying you handsomely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll make.
It's like with the
I'll make this. I'll make this much. So it's okay. Well, by the way, everybody, we are live for our second to last episode for the 2018 calendar year. We are doing this next week, right, guys? Are we going to be able to pull off Wednesday? What's the deal with that?
I just realized that we didn't talk about that. That might be a little sticky for me. We'll be on our way back from Indiana and might be doing dinner with the in-laws.
Family thing. Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit later post the show. We'll give everybody a heads up. Actually, we'll try to figure it out during the show so we can give everybody who's watching a heads up. This is the pre-Flask show. It's short this week because we had some technical difficulties. That does happen sometimes on the interwebs, especially with live streaming technology. And we welcome so far Bart and Clay, regular viewers of Camera and Flask. Guys, you have a couple more minutes to find a cup of coffee, an Irish coffee, a glass of water, a Mountain Dew, an iron brew, or maybe something a little bit more fueled for your fire. Go ahead.
It's the last episode before Christmas, so really you want to get into the spirit of things and
Bart, get your ass in gear and go get a beer. Okay, let's go, Bart. Come on, stop slouching around over here.
He's East Coast too. So he should be ready to roll.
It's time.
It's evening.
It is for sure, and we'll take off the voice activation bouncing once we get started with the actual show. How are you gents doing this week, by the way?
Good. Tired a little bit. Got that kid stuff going on a little bit in the middle of the night stuff. But just that whole, there goes the year. What are we gonna do next year? Just gone. This year, I cannot believe how quickly it went. So I feel like this was kind of a limp year. So trying to dial in for 2019. Be more objective, all that stuff we
all do
every year. Yeah.
It's my equivalent of deciding that I'm going to go to the gym.
Right.
But
exactly.
Usually I carry through. I mean, it just takes time to get there.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think about that too. Sort of the 2019 plan, waiting on a project to see what's happening with that. And we're in post on a little series we did for Small HD on the Focus family of products, which I think I mentioned last week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. So a little 4-part series where we start breaking down the family, and then we do the Focus LCDs, the OLEDs, and also the Bolt TX and RX. So first one's in the can, and I think we're gonna just try to finish all 4 of them and release them at the same time. We'll see how it goes.
Nice.
You got a shout out, Bart.
Thank you, Bart.
Caleb, sorry. Yeah.
I need to go buy some more. So that's great that they're down to $30. Love those stands.
Let's put a post on there because I could always use more light stands.
Yeah.
Great. Good. Hey, Jonathan Labello. There you go. And then Founders All Day IPA. Bart is beer in hand, East Coast. And we are officially 3 o'clock. So I switch it over to our captain this week, the Golden Child, and here he is.
Okay, here we go. So this week, first of all, everyone who just showed up, welcome. Trickle in. This week's gonna be kind of like last week in that we're doing a episode on kits, in particular audio this week. Super stoked. But before we get to that, let's address the other gorgeous gentleman in this room. I am beardless. I just realized I'm the odd man out here. Both of these stunning specimens over here.
You can grow a beard, right?
Oh yeah. But it doesn't attacks my wife, so She doesn't really care for that. So here's this. We got Mr. Jem Schofield with this hat that brings me great joy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Caleb?
Good, Jem.
Just a shout out, Guillermo, aka Memo Montesinos, Kurt, Mix Pre 6 earlier today, based on Caleb's rec. All right, yeah, some ducats spent. Question: where can we find lists from last week? Kyle, that is a great question. This is an evolving situation here, so you got to give us a little bit of time. But we have to kind of reverse engineer these dollar amount episodes and come up with a system. Caleb and I have had a little bit of an exchange about that. It'll probably be here on the C47 site, but we may do some other stuff as well. I love the recommendation about kit.com as well, and checking out people's kits and talking about those. So we're thinking about doing something like that in the future. This is my holiday hat, right, Ben? And here he is, Ben Barden, with his introduction. Just messing with him. Go ahead.
Holiday hat. Yeah, how are you doing, everyone? Great to see you both, as always. I'm now feeling underdressed without my Christmas hat on. But we're going to get into the spirit of things anyway in a minute. Yeah. So
you got the red RGB back there, or gel, or whatever that is.
That's it. I was going Christmas rather than brothel with that. So
got it.
Okay.
All right. So
now we're definitely in the show.
Here we go. Here we go.
There we go. Okay.
Sip yet. So here's the deal. Every single week, for those who may be new here, we're doing this show at 6 p.m. Eastern here on the lovely C47 channel. So please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. That way we can get this thing shipped off to you every single week, and you can watch it live. They'll be here after the fact as well.
Ben, are you here?
Oh, you dropped out, but you're back. Everything's fine.
Caleb dropped out. So I'm here. Are you here? We lost Caleb.
I'm here.
Okay, well,
that was weird. Well, I'm going to take a question while we wait for him to come back, because there's Betweenlands asked, why did I go for the C200 over the FS7? Given that every production seems to want it in the UK, which is a good question, actually. And that is very much the case on all the, I'm on this kind of Northern Cameramen group, and FS7 is the thing that get asked for. I've had a couple of projects that were up that I wanted the AF and the kind of just weather sealing and that general kind of robustness for. If things change and do different types of work, we might change it out, but I'm loving it at the moment. But yeah, it's a really good question. The FS7 does seem to be the camera that's in most demand in the UK. So Caleb's back. Let's get back to the,
hey guys.
The important stuff.
Chrome's like, you don't need to be signed in anymore.
No.
What do you need to do that for?
Frozen Caleb.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Anyway, let's jump in. So that's the deal every single week. Let's go ahead and jump into our first segment, which is what you drinking. I see Jem is all queued up there. He's ready to go with that glass. So Jem, what's going to be this week?
Well, I've got a Glencairn glass from the Whiskey Library in Portland, Oregon, which is a fantastic place. Whoops, let me switch over here. Which you basically go in and it's floor to ceiling, wall to wall whiskeys from around the world. So whiskeys with an E, whiskeys without an E. I had both a whiskey with and without an E when I was there, maybe more than that, and it was quite delicious. So I decided to get a glass. Maybe it was an impulse buy because I had had so much whiskey. I don't know, but there you go. This is not the best scotch in the world, but I'm going to explain this story behind this. This is the Glenlivet Founders Reserve, and just as a tiny, teeny, weeny education on scotch, scotch is being bought up around the world now, predominantly in Asia, to the tune of exorbitant amounts. So there's a little bit of a problem in Scotland in that they are, in fact, running out of scotch that is of a particular age and being able to make large enough batches. So from a marketing standpoint, what they're doing is they're mixing things like 18s with 12s and 15s, and they're creating these new versions of their scotches, and that's what Founders Reserve is. But the reason that I have this is there's actually two reasons. The first one is that which one should I say first? The first one is that when somebody turned 70 in my family in Scotland, I bought this in the Costco in Edinburgh, and I got absolutely sloshed on this thing, completely like kid drunk, like, you know, in your early 20s drunk, and, you know, insisted that I could walk home. Nobody would let me walk home. It was bad. So I'm doing this in honor of that. It also came with some bitters and a little stir. So I thought maybe I'll mix up an old fashioned and see what it tastes like with scotch, but that's not for today.
Nice.
So there you go. It's Founder's Reserve from Glenlivet, and I turn it over to our fine friend in the Czech Republic. And here he is, Mr. Ben Barden.
Okay. So I haven't done a beer, I don't think, since we started this. So I figured, seeing as we're out in the Czech Republic, this is my local brew, which is from 200 yards down the road, where there is a pub and a brewery. And
are you sure that's not maple syrup?
I mean, that's what I was thinking. What is that? So, Mrs.
Right.
Something.
So,
did that come with some pancakes or some waffles?
It is called amber, so it may be. You'll see.
It says it's this floor cleaner. It looks like floor cleaner. It's like Pine Sol.
Us Americans have never seen anything like that.
No,
there's a lie that there's beer in there, by the way. Does it come with an advent calendar? What is that? Oh my god!
Yeah.
Okay.
So all the little breweries in the Czech Republic, this is generally how they sell it, in plastic 1.5 litre bottles. So this is non-pasteurized, non-filtered. It has a shelf life of a month. So this is like done by the time. Yeah. So this tastes amazing, but it doesn't ship. It just doesn't last. There's no shelf life whatsoever.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What happens when you take that plastic bottle and you leave it out in the sun all day long? I mean, that thing has got to be. That is okay. I'm excited. Let's do it.
What are you expecting to happen to this if you leave it out in the sun?
I you know, like when I leave a water bottle that's plastic in the car, like in the baking heat, and I don't drink from it because I think whatever's in that plastic is getting in the water. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. I generally keep it in the fridge with the beer in. I'd rather have, I guess. And if we're talking about the glasses, we'll see this glass was a present from a friend of mine. I don't know if you can see this, but this has my face.
I see that. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Isn't it?
It's amazing. I think it's Ben who's been doing the 3D printing. This is amazing. Kurt, I agree with you. By the way.
Right. So
okay.
I haven't looked at the comments yet. So look, this.
Oh, wait. Oh, my God.
Non-filtered.
Oh, my glorious. Look at that. I want to drink that now. Let me go get my pancake.
You see?
My hotcakes. Let me go get my flapjacks out. Here we go.
All
right, Pine Sol.
And yes, Bart, that's exactly what I was looking for. Butterworths, Mrs. Butterworth's. Those bottles, the yellow cap and everything. Right. So this week, I'm staying true to who I am, apparently, and doing just a pouring drink. I haven't gone shopping for booze in forever, so we're getting real low on the stock. So this week, it's Belvedere vodka in a Kettle One glass.
I like it.
With just a touch of lime.
It's appropriate this week with your lighting episode where you had, you know, dueling lights from 2 different brands. So this is like 2 brands. True. Thank you very much. So cheers to you guys.
Gentlemen, cheers.
Angela, there we go. Cheers.
Yeah, correct, Jonathan. No 4 roses this week.
Oh, not bad.
But yeah, that'll change.
Smoke or anything. Okay.
When I get some time off this holiday season, I'm hoping to do some shopping. Put some booze on the old business card. Get this. No, I'm just kidding. Get it all settled up. So here's the deal. This week, we're doing audio. $2,000. That was the challenge. Last week, we did $15,000 for an entire kit. So I feel like we should start with Ben this week.
I like that. And this was a hard one. Let's go, Ben.
So this I spent, I don't know, I probably less time than last week. I think because a lot of the crossover between the two, I think I had quite a lot in this kit that was part of mine from last week. So let me see if we can get this up. and then we'll
see. I think I spent more time this week because I really struggled. It was very tough. I actually have 2 lists to show you guys later on, but one's very short. Crazy.
Okay.
And
hey, it's Jem.
Right, okay. Yeah. Is that working now? We got
perfect.
Is that up?
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, everybody, by the way, just Caleb's comment here. This is open forum. You guys can, Bart says pay $2,000 to a sound guy. You're going to get 4 days at most. You might get 2.5 for that with Kit. Let me just say that you guys are supposed to be, telling us the stuff that you like too. So this is open forum and free for all in some respects. Please, input. Conversation is great. Okay, we're ready for you, right. Ben.
So the first thing that I'd like to point out is the total.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So you got like that almost made up for last week. How much were you over last week?
About that much. $6 I was over.
Okay, so you still got to make
it was like $6. Yeah. A little. So all right, so I'm going to start with wireless kit. I'm going for the Sennheiser kit, which is the one that I have the most experience with and that I use all the time. And the range on that is really good, and it's never let me down. I really like its system for scanning for clean channels. So when you're in areas with a lot of industrial stuff going on, where there's a lot of radio traffic going on, it's great. It does this whole scan through, lets you know where you've got spare channels. And I think I've only had one instance where it's not found something clean. So I use those all the time. I don't use them with the mic that came with it. And we'll come to that in a second. So then
by the way, Kurt said it's $6.80. So you're still in
the red or the black.
You're still in the red. You're still screwed. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Kurt. That's great.
Kurt.
Nice
Thank
to see
you,
you,
Kurt.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, so I've got bought the Rode Lav mic because I like how flexible that is. So I have, and I'm using that now actually with the Micon adapters. So you can then put that onto the Sennheiser wireless kit. So then you've got a spare with the original. So
can we point out that the flexibility of that Micon connector system is that they have like 8 of them. So there's Limo, there's Hiroshi, there's Sony UWP. So you can basically take one mic and just adapt it. You don't need a soldering iron or any of that crap. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and so not only can you put it into other wireless systems, but you can also then run that into an XLR, and then you can put that straight into the camera, because obviously it's always better to do that if you can. If you don't need to be using wireless, then don't, because number one, there's all sorts of interference that can come into that, and also your batteries are going to go down. There's just more stuff to go wrong. If you can just put it straight in with a cable, far better to do so. So that's the Micon 1 connector, which is the one to go into the Sennheiser system. I've put in the Rode Micon cable, which is just basically an extension on that. And the Micon 5. So as we're saying, you can then put an XLR into that and put that straight into the camera, which is my preferred way of doing that. 2 XLR cables of different lengths, short ones, long ones, pairs of boom pole, the NTG2. Again, sort of quite good value for money, and I use that a lot. I find it a very forgiving microphone. When talent goes off axis, it's really soft to roll off on that. And then the NT5, which I haven't used, but this is purely on your recommendation, Jem, with the pickup pattern being cardioid, and when you're using that on an overhead, particularly, and you're not getting any of the noise above, and being a little cleaner. Just a bog standard boom pole holder. And then, as we were talking about last week, I've got the Smart Lav. Just great for getting you out of a hole, and also those things can just fit in a pocket, be with you all the time. You can use those to record directly into a mobile phone. The Rode Rec app is really good, but you can use it on Android with other third-party recording apps. the real beauty of that is also that you can use it with the TRS adapter, and you can put that straight into your camera. So you can put that straight into an A7, but you can also put that into, it's like the C200, it'll go into the side of that as well. So it's, again, it's a good bit of redundancy, good spare to always have with you. Dead cat for the NTG2, suspension shock mount.
I love those SMRs. Those are great.
Yeah. They're really good.
Yeah.
And really inexpensive. And they use Rycote shock mounts. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, and I think that might have been a used, that was a used item. So that was a bargain at 32. And I got a pack of the Invisilav mounting systems, which these things are great. You can't stick them on with the little self-adhesive pads that come with them. They're useless. They just fall off straight away.
Yeah.
But you stick them on with wig tape or gaff. I sometimes do that with them. Make a little sandwich, gaff tape, and put them in. And then I got the Zoom H5 just because I had a little bit of money left over, and as a backup, and to be able to record standalone audio again if you're then resorting to using a camera that's not got a lot of options for onboard audio. And then with my last remaining $17, because that's pretty much exactly what I had left, I got some tape, which again, as I was saying earlier, you can use that to mount lav mics. Often do it where you make the little triangle. So if you have a look on YouTube, there's plenty of tutorial videos on how to do that, but you make a little parcel, two of them, put the mic in between, and then you can hide that between two layers of clothing, and that stops kind of any rustle. And that's me. So $1,998.50.
Beautiful.
Good job. Very nice. I like it.
I'm excited. I'm really excited for this one. I figured it'd be pretty different, but it's just so interesting to see what you guys come up with. And by the way, for those watching, we have not talked about this to each other, so this is new to us, seeing what each of us come up with. So, and we're going to be looking for crossover to see if there's any similarities. Right. And I'm wondering if there's not going to be much. It's going to be interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that we're doing these, and I think that we can, we talked about this last week. Obviously, it's interesting to people just based on views compared to some of the other episodes. So I think we can break this up into the same basic concept, but higher and lower dollar amounts. But we could do a $5,000 audio kit next time, and that'll open up a whole bunch of stuff for us. And then we can do the same stuff in lighting, camera, grip. It's going to be fun. So
real quick, Travis, first of all, very welcome, very much welcome. He's a second-time watcher. I don't know if you guys saw his comment here. Looking forward to this episode all week. I'm a sound mixer in Florida who created a $2,000 kit on B&H last night just for fun. Eager to see how it compares. That is a great idea. We should
one Shep mount. Is that all you got? You just got a Travis. Travis just got a Shep's mic. That's it. Not mount.
Yeah, right.
He bought one microphone, and he still had to owe like $500.
Yeah. Well, two things there. Number one, would love to hear your thoughts on this, Travis, as a full-time sound mixer. And secondly, we should figure out some kind of way where we can all make this more interactive, where other people can share their kits somehow. That would be pretty interesting. Yeah. I'll have to think about that. But
if we don't do an episode next week, Caleb, because of family conflicts and schedules, which we're still trying to determine during the show today, Caleb and I will definitely sit down and talk about some ways that we can take what we're doing here with Cameron Flask and make it a little bit more interactive, a little bit more outreach, a little bit more sharing of information. Because that's really kind of why this show exists. It's not just for the three of us to just talk about stuff. It is about you guys. And Travis, hats off to you. I'm keeping it on because the headphones are on. Sporting some little old school 80s here. Because when I can, which is actually in some respects more often than not, I always hire a sound recordist for my productions. It is the great stress reducer for small to no crew production, for a producer director to hire somebody who's an owner operator and can be fully and wholly responsible for recording the audio for a production. So understand that each of us are coming from our kits for different reasons. Ben is generally going out as a no crew production for a lot of the stuff he's doing, and then works with other companies, with other people, and then sometimes other kit comes in. Caleb, he's living in that world that's amazing there, and he has different sound requirements than I do. And mine is sort of traditional small crew production stuff. What is Caleb making in the background? Maybe since his Flask game is so off, he should just tell us he has 3 printed.
It's a secret. You guys will find out next year.
Okay, we're excited. Okay, good. So that is Ben's list. And we go for an hour every week, just so that if you're new to the show, you want to know that. We have a hard out, so it goes from 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. We definitely are looking at these kits here. Chris, makeakit.com kit for each episode. We might. We'll see how that all goes. So there you go.
Kit is really, really easy because you just click it. You don't have to mess around with all that stuff.
I'm down with that. We could all make our own kits on Kit.
We totally could.
Yeah. It could. We could. I don't know. Will they let us do a share? Where essentially,
that's a good question. If there's like a folder of,
where we could do Caleb's, Ben's, and mine. Okay, cool. All right.
So let's go ahead and jump over to Mr. Jem.
Oh, it's my turn.
Let's see. Yeah. We'll just do reverse of last week.
Whew, here we go, kiddies.
Bad Santa. Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna hide everything. You guys are gonna moderate. Okay, here we go.
Okay, sounds good.
So I'm not really hiding everything. It doesn't really matter. There's nothing. Okay, so you guys can see that. And now I'll hide everything. Can you see?
No, I just see your face, which I enjoy seeing. But
no, it should pop over. You saw it, and now you should see
nothing yet.
Really? I'm sharing.
Did you hit share screen and then confirm and choose the screen you want to share? Although it's a laptop, so it should just be the one.
Probably not.
There it is. Go. Oh, got it.
And now should I share to everyone?
All the things. It's presenting right now already.
All right. How about that? You see that?
Yes. Polar patterns.
Okay, good. So we'll get to that in a minute. That's great. Good. All right. So here we go. Here's my list.
All
and then everybody can see it, right?
Nice. 1997, 52.
1997, 52. It was a good year. I was younger. I'm sure some stuff happened. Here we go. What was I doing in 1997? I was getting close to marriage. Okay, here we go. So number one, Sony 2-channel portable receiver kit. So this, this is a B&H kit, but essentially it's the least expensive way we can put together one of my favorite pieces of kit, which is the Sony dual channel receiver. So it actually will take 2 transmitters. They can be a plug in or plug on style for a boomed mic or standard body pack style. This particular kit has a hard case, and it has 2 transmitters that are in the body pack style, and then the 2-channel receiver. So for documentary and sort of corporate stuff, when I want to have 2 people on camera, it's ideal. Very happy. Very similarly to Ben, I have not had any issues with the Sony system. You have to be careful when you're buying wireless systems. First of all, we break down into 2 sort of categories. There are, block frequency-based systems, and then there are basically gigahertz-based systems. So when you look at let's say the Rode Filmmaker kit, that's a 2.4 gigahertz system. It hops channels, and it's generally a short-range wireless system. Reliable, relatively inexpensive, but does not have the same range that you get into when you are doing the block frequency range systems like this. This is a 14 to 25 system. I mentioned this again. You have to be aware that when you're using wireless systems, that there are basically there's rules and regulations in terms of what frequency ranges you can use in different parts of the world. And you also have to make sure that your transmitters and your receivers are on the same block and range so that they will communicate with each other. So I'm very happy with the Sony.
Just on that really quickly on that, B&H seemed to know, because when I did my list, it wouldn't let me. It kept trying to take my Sennheiser kit out because it was obviously the US version, and I was obviously registered as being in Europe.
Interesting.
So they
Very
know,
nice.
I think.
Very nice. I like it. So then I'll get to this in a minute, but my challenge was, how the hell do I mount these ginormaloid lavaliers that come with the Sony system? They're pretty chunky, you know, and I started playing around with trying to go into a Rode lavalier system because they're much smaller capsules, but it didn't work in terms of being able to have a complete audio kit for what I wanted to do. So I put into my cart 4 different mounting options for that capsule. I've actually LMC Sound I absolutely love. I'll talk about them a little bit more when I get to my auxiliary list. But they basically make these little rubberized mounts for your lavalier mics. And I have 2 in here, and I think one of these 2 will fit the larger Sony capsule. And similarly to what Ben said, you know, wig tape, you can use top stick, anything that's a good double stick tape. Generally 1/2 inch is the right width that you want to get. You can get 1 inch also, depending on the mount. Sanken makes a mount for their COS 11. I think it's called the LM11 or something. And that one, you can use 1 inch double-sided tape. And then I don't know anything about Bumblebee, but I looked into these different mounts, these lav covers, and they look legit. And I think they'll fit this Sony. So I went with just putting some of my money towards, about $40 US into having mounting solutions for the larger capsules, because I didn't have enough money to go ahead and buy a COS 11, even the Rode one, B6s from Countryman. None of those were options for me.
This scrolls down. What are you at this point? Like what, 65, 70% of the budget?
Yeah, I guess.
Wow.
Well, no, I mean, it's almost $1,300, but remember, I'm getting a 2-channel receiver and 2 transmitters. So that's going to get a lot of work for the type of production that I do.
Sure.
So that's going to be my, you know, kind of my go-to in terms of wireless. Sure, there are better wireless systems, Letrasonics, you know, but when you're on a budget, these Sony systems are solid, and I'm happy with what they're doing. We move down here, and headphones, the HD25s from Sennheiser, they're my favorites. Flat frequency response. I like them a lot because they are quiet. So 7506s from Sony, also a standard in the industry, very flat frequency response. But you can hear a lot of ambient noise when you're using them. And I'm not a sound recordist, and sometimes I really need to tune out what's happening in the outside world. And so they're much quieter in terms of ambience. So it's a lot easier for me to tell whether or not there's an audio problem when I'm wearing them. Incredibly comfortable to wear, also flat frequency response. And so I use these for both production and post. So I got to have a pair of those. I have had 2 editors over the last few years, and I've actually bought them these headphones so that they can mix projects using them. We move on to the Rode NT55, and a little bit different from the mic that Ben has in his cart. It's the same capsule. In fact, it comes with 2 capsules. Let me now bring up our little polar patterns. It comes with an omnidirectional capsule, which is obviously picking up audio spherically 360 degrees. And then it comes with the top right one, which is the cardioid one. And that's the one that I'm interested in. You can see that it doesn't have a tail in the back, which is going to reduce picking up noise in interior locations, especially for things like HVAC systems. Camera handling noise, though I don't use it very often on camera. If I'm going to put a boomed mic on there, it's going to be this one. And it also has, in addition to what the NT5 has, which is that cardioid capsule, built into the mic itself is a low-cut filter with 2 low-cut settings. And then it also has an attenuator. So you can reduce the input of the audio that's coming into the mic. So I think it's worth the extra, whatever that is, $140, because you can do some roll off. You know, low cut filter is the same thing as a high pass filter. It's letting the high frequencies through, or it's cutting the low frequencies. So NT55 has been a go-to. Not a lot of money for the deluxe windshield, the WS8. So I'm adding that for $25. I went for the Rycote as opposed to the Rode universal shotgun mount, because for the same basic amount, though I didn't find the used one that Ben found, it also came with an adapter so I can use it on a cold shoe. So, and it's still a Rycote, so it's solid. So here's where the compromise had to happen. Unlike Ben, who has a proper K-Tech boom pole with cabling, which I wanted to have, and I have my favorite in that line as well. And I would prefer carbon fiber because aluminum gets very cold in cold weather. I have a Siri carbon fiber monopod, which is $100. This is a less expensive version, packs down very small, doesn't give you quite the reach that you would get with a traditional boom pole, but you still get about 6 foot reach. And it's reversible on the end, so you can have a 3/8 or a larger threading, which I think is a 5/8 threading on the other side for traditional kind of boom shock mount type stuff. And then I've got a 25-foot cable XLR, and then a short 1.5-foot cable. So if I want to take that NT55 and I want to put it on top of a camera, I can do that with that as well. And there's my kit. I think it's a pretty complete kit.
So question for you.
Yes, sir.
So you're conducting the interview, you got your camera set up, all this is running to the camera, and then you're also with one arm holding the monopod because you have no stands or no way to boom your monopod boom pole.
Nobody said that I didn't have a boom operator. I have a boom operator. I'm paying somebody. I'm paying somebody.
Okay, so he just shows up and he's just a wizard.
Where's this person? Where's this person you're hiring's cost on this list?
Well, this is just audio kit.
I didn't see this person listed.
And did you tell him about the monopod before he signed on? Or this is
I've got one thing to say.
Okay.
$6.80. Okay, here we go.
$6.80.
Well, I'm glad you put some headphones in this week. That's good.
Oh, you took an ass. I'm gonna have another drink. Hold on one second before I get at this.
Love it.
Here we go. Hold on. What do you got to say, Caleb? Say it. Spit it out.
I'm just checking the comments here. Just catching up with everybody here.
Do a couple of comments.
Vibration coming from studio monitor is driving me crazy trying to figure it out. Ooh, that sucks. There was a question here where did it go? Talking about the boom pole, good times. Dadgummit. I missed it. There's a comment that I can't seem to find. Anyway, very nice, Jem.
Okay,
legit.
Wait.
Multiple
I gotta jump in.
microphones.
I want to just mention this. This is going to only take a second here, okay?
Let's do it.
Remember I talked about those smaller mics. This says plus 2K audio stuff. I want everybody to do a little research. There's 2 microphones that Sony makes. One is called the ECM88. The other one is a new one that's coming out called the ECM90. This is a fascinating microphone. And I'm not saying that facetiously. And what's fascinating about it is that instead of a standard barrel-based capsule at the end where the pickup is for the mic, they redesigned the shape of that, and they have 2 diaphragms inside of this ECM88. And then they basically have trays underneath the diaphragm, and those trays basically isolate cable noise. And I've tried this, by the way. It's ridiculous. And before I switch back to me, you might need a soldering kit. And then I absolutely love, just write it down on your list, everybody. If you have a smaller microphone like a COS 11, you have the Rode mic, you have a B6 should work in there. I've tried a B6 in there. The LMC Sound 4S furry mount is amazing. I basically tuck it here. Now I can switch over so you guys can see this. Where's my little thing? Stop sharing. and go. You there? Am I back?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. You're back.
Okay. So, so basically, if I'm wearing a shirt here, I use that LMC and I just put some double stick tape on there, but it has a little furry, and outside it works wonders. But this other Sony mic that I'm telling you about, the ECM88, and the reason I have that connector there is that means you can use it with the UWP system. When you take that microphone and you rub on the cable here, you don't hear any noise at all, because it is a ridiculous mic. I'm trying to talk to Andy over at Sony to try to get Sony to make it in the BMP connector, which would allow it to be used with the Sony system, which I think technically is compatible with Sennheiser as well, but we'll have to find out. Yeah, it's a very long second. You're right, AP Studios. I'm sorry. What am I supposed to do? I mean, I gotta educate here as well as share like dumb information. Okay. All right, here we go. So now it is up to our fine friend in the Midwest. You know, my son was wearing this hat for the last couple of days. I'm not sure. My head's a little itchy. Okay, next. Here we go. No, I'm just kidding. I have no hair. It doesn't matter. It's all good.
Human mites. All right, here we go. Let's share a screen. Make sure it's the right screen.
Yeah, Bart, my boom operator gets the remaining $2 from his budget. That's correct.
All right, can you guys see?
We can. Yes, I gotta make it a little. Yeah, make it a little bigger. There we go. Yeah, yeah.
Real big.
Oh, here's
our number, right?
I love that you're starting with this brand by K-Tech. I have a box of their stuff, and it's really great. Okay, good. I'm excited. Here we go.
Here we go. I didn't go. Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, so I've got $50 left, enough to go pick up one of those little furry, fuzzy friends that Jem was talking about. Yeah. So this is the cart. I'm going to switch over to the actual list here. And my first microphone is going to be a little interesting. Speaking of microphones, adjust my actual mic. I'm using a second monitor here, so it's kind of janky. Deity. We're going with the VMic 3 D3 Pro, which is really, really interesting. I love this thing. It's brand new. You can get it not on B&H, but other places. And first of all, there's no battery. It's USB-C charged, has its own battery. And this is one of the smartest microphones out there. First of all, it's just a great super cardioid, which I prefer just to get a little more punch on subject for the stuff I do. If I'm in a quiet environment or I can't control the AC, what the other guys have picked up is very smart. So this one has, all the stuff you're used to, high pass, low pass. You'll notice this dial back here. Can you see this, by the way? Yeah. Okay,
yeah, I was going to mention that. That is so cool.
This is essentially like the Rode Video Mic. If the Rode Video Mic Pro had a dial instead of a switch. So it's a preamp. It's silent. Really nice knob here. Charges via USB-C. And it also has that 3.5 millimeter output. And this thing has a circuit board or a microcontroller circuit, whatever smart people will know what I'm talking about or would know a better word for it. But it'll detect whatever you throw at it signal-wise. So if you plug it into a DSLR, it'll say, oh, you need this signal. If you plug it into a camera that doesn't supply any power over 3.5 millimeter, it'll use the battery. If you use the little XLR adapter, which is right here, Deity Microphones DXLR, it will let you use phantom power, and it'll actually use a balanced XLR connection. So, and you can also plug it into your iPhone, and it'll work because it has a TRS or TRRS connector. So it pretty much will work with any device, and it's not that expensive. I was going to get the Rycote handle grip setup, but I ran out of money, so we switched to that. So ignore this price. This is the wish list, which doesn't include duplicates. So that's my main microphone. I would have loved to have more. Got a wind foam dealio or a dead cat for outdoor use. Also from Deity. Clearly, I'm becoming a huge fan of theirs. Oh, snap. Back. Oh, dip. Oh, geez. Here we go. Okay. This thing is essentially their answer to the Rode Smart Lav. Same idea as this previous microphone. You plug it into anything and it just works. It also has a little controller in there that'll detect what's going on and supply power, remove power. You plug it into anything and it'll give you sound. $50, which is pretty awesome. We're doing 2 Rode links. Let me zoom in a little more, maybe. There we go. 2 Rode links. Not to sound like a huge fanboy or like I'm being paid, but Deity is also coming out with a wireless setup that I'm really stoked to check out.
Can I ask you a question, Caleb? When I use this wish list feature, or I did last week, when I added quantities of more than one, it didn't update the price. So is there a chance you might be over? I'm just trying to get...
No. That's why I've got this page. This is my actual cart with the same exact stuff.
Okay.
So it's 1945.
You froze. Did you freeze? You froze, Ben, because you were laughing and I didn't see any laughing. You're still have a pensive look on your face.
He looks good on my end.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see him moving. Okay. Is he moving for you, Caleb?
Really?
Yeah, he's good.
Let me see what happens if I switch over to Ben. Oh, now he is. Okay. It's just frozen. Now I froze you on jazz hands. So, Caleb, can I ask you a question about this?
Yeah.
So, how old is your wireless filmmaker kit?
It's Gen 1.
Okay, so I have a question, and I haven't quite figured this out. There was one generation where the microphone actually had the Micon connector. Does it have a Micon connector now, or is it at the end? Is it basically, I wouldn't say hardwired, but is the connector attached and you can't disconnect it?
Yeah, you can't remove it.
Okay.
I had the first gen, which had some serious problems with all kinds of
stuff.
No,
I did too. So I do want to say this, though, so that people know this, because Ben had the Rode lavalier inside of his kit. And the thing that you should understand, which is, I think, $229. Is that right, Ben? It's about $229, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds right.
So, so the microphone that comes with Caleb's Rode Link wireless filmmaker kit is a Rode lavalier mic. I'm not saying it's the best lavalier mic in the world. It's a good lavalier mic. And essentially for an extra $100, you're getting a transmitter and a receiver for wireless. Just telling you how it is. So that's just information for people to know if you're wondering. There we go. Sorry, Caleb.
Nice. No, you're good. So 2 of these for that, everyone's going to run into that situation where they need to mic up 2 people. I love the idea of what everyone else or a lot of people are doing. Sony Deity, when they come out with their setup where you've got 1 receiver, 2 transmitters. But for now, this is what you're dealing with. So 2 of those puppies, and then the 2 VXLRs to get that converted to a balanced, interface.
What's up, Jordan? Jordan came for a little hello.
What's up, Jordan? Good to see you, brother.
Hello.
You boys should start your own show. I'm just saying. I'm saying it out loud in front of everybody right now. I'm getting sick of this situation. Hold on. This is a little... Can we just take a break here for a second? Jordan?
Yeah. Jordan, welcome, but we're putting you on the spot.
We're putting you on the spot, Jordan. Okay? Just do it. Take the plunge. You guys need to start your own show. You'll be huge. It'll be great. And that's all I have to say right now. We can talk off show. Goodbye. You're back, Caleb.
And we love you.
We do.
Okay, so I cheaped out on the boom pole. I didn't go all
Why are you laughing?
Like broke ass like Jem did with his monopod.
Wait a second. I love Rode, Caleb, but this Rode micro boom pole, which I have, is kind of like broke ass. Okay.
Yeah, but it's an actual boom pole. It's not
really. It's a boom pole in 3 pieces. Okay, so if you lose one piece, you tell me who's the sucker. Now you're the Carl of this episode.
I don't think there's any way you recover from your.
You're the Pilkington right now. Oh, you're so Pilkington right now.
So I cheaped out with my.
I passed that thing like, oh, forget it. Go ahead.
I was gonna go K-Tech, but all my stuff starts to get more expensive from here. And there's a reason. So we're going with the cheapo boom pole. We got the boom pole holder. We also have a Matthews mini grip head and a heavy duty stand. So I don't have to stand, and
Caleb, can I borrow that from you every once in a while when I have a production?
That way you don't have to
Second word would be off.
Conduct your interviews with your one arm holding the microphone over the talon. So this stand is great. It's if you guys need just a decent heavy duty tall stand, this is awesome for the money. Really can throw a lot of weight on it, and it's $40.
Yeah.
I think it's on sale, and that's why it's that low. And then yeah, so that's the whole setup for the microphone. And then we're dropping a decent amount of money on that Sound Devices Mix Pre 3.
I had that in my car, in and out.
Oh,
yeah. For years now, I've just given up on anything other than dual system. I'll still run an output from this device to my cameras, but I just really like having that, especially if someone else, is on your crew and they're running sound. It's just a great device. It's so clean, analog limiters, and it can take 3 XLR inputs, and it's all ISO tracks, which I don't think a lot of people know. So when you pull in the files from this in a Final Cut Premiere, you see 3 or more channels.
Yep.
Which is amazing, and you can do a lot with that. So love this thing so much, and it can be powered over USB. So I went with this USB battery pack, which has 3 high amperage outputs. That's why it's a little more expensive than, like a Walmart USB battery. So we're powering the Sound Devices. We're also powering both of those Rode Link receivers. So you can put all this in a bag and it's USB powered. And then, when you're not recording, you can charge up your microphone. And then I threw in a cheapo bag to hold it all. I had to go real cheap.
Yeah, but this brand by Aero is an interesting brand because it's their sort of cost-effective line of products. But from what I've seen, not bad stuff.
Yeah. So this would hold the recorder. You got a little rain cover. You could throw your receivers on there.
Yeah.
Wire it all up, and then I have a 20-foot XLR and an SD card. And that's it.
Okay. And who's operating that Mix Pre 3 in production? The same guy that's holding my boom pole?
No. Me. And you're supposed to keep your hands on your dials there. But what's nice about this guy is you got those analog limiters. Not that that's how you should be treating your sound recording.
Yeah.
But you're good with those. And I actually keep my levels a little low on that unit. It's so clean. You can set your peaks at like -20 and boost them in post without any issues.
Yeah.
Whereas if you try to do that on a Zoom H4n or H5 or whatever,
Game over.
It's done. But
So
anyway,
that's a good.
Now I don't really care for, like, this mic is great, but I wouldn't maybe want to use this on, like, bigger production. I want a couple different shotguns and pencil condensers like you guys have been talking about. So I'm kind of stuck with this in this budget, but I mean, if I'm going to have one mic, that's the one I'm going for sure.
It's interesting. It's so not a lot of crossover. I mean,
actually, yeah, let's go over that. So we've all 3 gone over our kits. You guys both had a pencil condenser, although different ones, the 5 and the 55 from Rode, right?
Yeah.
Yep. What else?
Nothing really.
Was there literally anything? Boom pole holder. You and I had one of those. Jem was stuck outside with the door locked.
Well, I think I have a couple of dollars left, and I can just go over to Cabela's and I can go buy one of those from the bin, one of those things for a fishing pole, and they're like $2. So I might actually be okay. And now I need a stand. I didn't know that we had to buy a stand. I thought we were just buying audio equipment. We didn't say grip and audio.
Well, I guess I was thinking like stuff dedicated. Like I would leave this set up, or this stand would always be ready to go for,
I agree, but it just wasn't in my mind. But that's okay.
we should have.
I feel really bad.
Yeah, I didn't get stands either. I figured I could use stands I bought last week. No.
Interesting. Okay. You guys both had a lot of mic options. I've got, if you include the Rode, I guess there's a couple, but one non-lav, which is kind of rough. What else? Is that really it? Well, let's do this. We all had some, main interview mic and some kind of wireless option, all different brands, which I find very interesting. I haven't tried any of the Sennheiser stuff, the new stuff. My last kit was the G2s, which I like ran into the ground. Had that forever.
Yeah. I had too many problems. I think the problem for me with Sennheiser was the mics that came with it were absolute dog poo, and
Agreed.
they just kept going. And that's fair to say, but at least the Sonys come with mics that have never failed me. They're not great, they're not small, but they've always held up well. And so I've been happy about that. It wasn't that I wasn't getting connections with the G series, but I just felt like I had too many, 2 or 3 of those mics go. The connector was absolute garbage. And so that was my big problem with the Sennheiser system. I love that little 2.4 gigahertz one that has a little right angle receiver that goes into the XLR input though. AWX or something like that. That's a really cool little system, and I've checked that out. It's pretty cool.
And the mic that came with the G3, that they're very susceptible to getting damage on the cable as well, so that you damage the shielding, and then you get all kinds of weird. It sounds like there's a shaver going on. Yeah, all sorts.
Alex bought a boom pole, the micro boom pole. Yeah, you can use it for fishing as well. People make fun of my monopod, but trust me, I have that mini boom pole.
See, I don't think it's that bad. I don't really use it anymore due to, I don't need that much of a reach, and I've got this other thing going on. But it's $50, right?
K-Tech makes a collapsible travel version of their boom pole that has cabling inside of it, which is also a little iffy. I've had cabling go bad on one of mine. But it packs down really small. It's less than 2 feet when it's collapsed down. 1.6 feet, 1.8 feet. They have different variations. And what I love about that is you can fit that into any backpack. You can fit it into a rolling tank or Tenba case. And I just love the fact that it's so small. So it takes up so little room. And if I were going to actually have a budget inside of my cart for a boom pole, it would have definitely been a K-Tech boom pole. So
I worked hard to try to get that in there, but it wasn't going to happen. I was really stuck on this whole bag thing. And then I found that $50 bag, and that helped. Yeah. Okay. Yes. All right.
Cheap ass reviews. I love it. So what do we got for some questions here? We got about another 7 on the clock, right, Caleb?
Absolutely.
So you want to take us into question land? Yeah.
So let's see. Let's go up here a little bit. I'm looking for a new wired mic to replace the Audio-Technica AT889 omnidirectional. Thoughts from Harrison.
I don't use a lot of wired lavaliers. I've used the Sony. I don't even know the model. It's been so long, a couple of times, and it's been clean and nice. And as Ben mentioned before, if you take certain mics, you can terminate them in XLR. The Rode lavalier, again, it's not going to be a B6. It's not a COS 11, though. I think the frequencies on the COS 11 for me are a little high, and it's definitely the COS 11 from Sanken is so freaking sensitive that it picks up everything. So unless it's in the hands of Travis, for instance, it's really hard when you're in a small to no crew situation for you to take that microphone and hook it up to somebody and not get some noise in there. And that's kind of a game over. So what I like about the Rode lavalier is it's a little less sensitive, maybe not as good of a mic, but a little less sensitive. But that Micon adapter lets you terminate, and they also have Micon extenders. So you can literally take that Rode lavalier mic and you can make it into a wired mic, and it's very inexpensive. You get the Micon 5, you get the Micon extender, and you can run that thing for days and run it to your town. That's again kind of in a different way, taking Caleb's approach of buying that Deity mic and saying it's multi-purpose. That has a lot to do with the smartness of we'll call it AI, even though it's not. It's the idea that it can tell what the connection is. I think that the Rode lavalier is probably the most versatile lavalier that's on the market because of the the mic on connector. Yeah. Well, yeah, Travis, you have 4 in your kit because you know how to mount them, and you're doing sound, and they're great. But you put them into fumbly hands, and you have some problems. What about you, Ben? Wired mics? Any feelings on that?
I think exactly what you've said, really. I know that it isn't the best, but it's just the most flexible in terms of using the Rode Lav. It's sort of $300 gets you the mic and pretty much all the mic on connectors, and you've got so much flexibility with that. So for what I do, there's nothing else really that I was considering. And I haven't used that many other things, to be honest, so I can't really weigh in on other models.
I will also mention that the NT G2 that you use, Ben, is a good mic, but it's not a very hot mic. You know, you go to an NT-G3 and there's a lot more punch inside of that microphone. I see a screen share going on here from Caleb. Here it is.
I just wanted to show what Mike Rowe here was talking about, this K-Tech Avalon. Look at this, 1.8 or 1 foot 8 inches. That's insane.
Oh yeah, I have one.
Compactness.
It's great. Awesome. I mean, it takes up 0 room. It's awesome. They have another one that's 1.6 inches.
Oh my damn.
Oh my dang.
Oh my damn.
What about you, Caleb? Do you use any wired mics at all?
Lavs? Not really. I've just been rocking a shotgun or some kind of XLR phantom powered preamp thing for a while. If I was still doing what I used to do, is just a wireless lav as a backup and a shotgun or a pencil condenser whenever possible. I just always it just killed me to hear, you know, anything other than those mics if possible, but you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
But yeah, those G2s took good care of me back in the day. And I will mention, I forgot, it's not in my wish list, but it's in my cart, is these things. The 7506s, we already talked about them. You can't go.
I have 2 pairs. I mean, I think they're great mics. They're also, I mean, headphones, but they're interesting also. We were talking about output. They're quiet microphones, and I mean microphones, headphones. And I don't mean quiet as in they make less ambience. They don't have as much punch. I find that when I'm listening at the same volume with the HC25s from Sennheiser, I'm hearing more with them than I am with the 7506s. And I use them for other things. Like I have an electronic drum kit, and I'll plug the 7506s in, and they're super quiet, even cranked all the way up. And then I'll put in the HD25s louder.
Interesting.
So maybe they just have, you know, bigger punch or something like that. I should do another test on that just to make sure that's true. But yeah, that's been my experience. So good. Trams. Trams are easy. I think the TR50 from Tram Between Lands is interesting because most lavalier mics, if we take a look at this capsule right here, the actual capsule right here is like center of the universe. So the omnidirectional pickup is here. But I think the Tram mic, the TR50, the pickup pattern is from the front of the actual capsule. So if you were mounting that in Santa's hat or in a baseball cap, it would be better because you wouldn't necessarily want to pick up anything from here. You'd want all your pickup to be from the front in an omnidirectional pattern. So I might be wrong about that, but I do know that one of the Tram mics is like that. So there you go.
Boom.
We're close, gentlemen. So Caleb, in-laws next Wednesday.
Right. Most likely.
Does that mean you're not doing a live stream as well next Wednesday, or how does that work?
Yeah. It's I haven't fully figured it out, but it's kind of one of those like getting back from Christmas kind of situations.
Okay.
So
let's do this. It's Wednesday is officially Boxing Day. I can tell everybody from my standpoint that I will be posting a new episode, which will sort of be some of my favorite gear from 2018. So that'll drop at 9 a.m. Well, it'll drop at noon Eastern next Wednesday. That'll be the last episode of Gearbox 2.0 for 2018. I think we should call it, guys, and we should say that we're off next week, and then we pick it up Wednesday, January 2nd. Everybody okay? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that good? Good.
Yeah. And everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you all have a wonderfully merry and happy Christmas. Best to you and yours. Have a drink. Remember us. We'll see you in January, I guess.
Wednesday, January 2nd.
I like this one. I like it. Yeah, I love the kid stuff. It's fun.
I do too. And I love the community we've got going here. And thank you, Travis, for that little recommendation on that mic. If you wouldn't mind, send me a link to that on the c47.com, or just make a comment here in the actual page as opposed to the live stream chat. That would be awesome. Anytime anybody wants to share anything from these live streams and they want it to live a little bit longer, even though we can scroll through the live stream chat, it would be better to just post it as a comment here in the page. And then that way you can put links in there. You can share some information. We'd love it if you do that. Travis, please do that for the OSTTL-40. Happy holidays to everyone. It's been a pleasure having you guys in for, well, we're in double digits now. This is episode 10. So we officially got to double digits this year. And we will pick this up on Wednesday, January 2nd. Again, love the community that's here. And two of my best friends in the whole world, Ben and Caleb. Ben, and your little send-off to everybody.
So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, peace and goodwill to all of you.
This boy's going to drink this year.
Man, I'm going to drink so hard. I'm going to finish my last edit Friday afternoon. I'm going into Prague, and I'm going out with Billy from Blind Spot in Prague on Friday.
For God's sake.
I don't even want to think about that.
He won't even make it till Christmas. Oh, my goodness.
Those boys can, yeah.
You are in so much trouble.
Wow.
So much trouble.
It's going to be amazing.
All right, everybody. I hear the pitter-patter of little feet and children screaming. And I'm going off to the holiday lights thing somewhere, and it should be fun. Guys, have a great holiday with your family. We'll talk before the holidays, of course. And to everybody here on the chat, thank you for coming. And Kurt asked, "What's a Carl?" It's time for you to do a little research.
He says, "What a Carl." He knows what Carl is.
Water Carl. I thought he said what's a. I thought he said what. No, I said, what's a Carl? I thought he said, what's a Carl? I was like, oh, my God. And trust me.
I'll take Pilkington. Pilkington's from Manchester, which is pretty close where I'm from. So we probably sound the same. My hair's going too. So we're going to,
Perfect. Okay, guys. Idiot abroad. Have a good one, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers. See ya.